Real good day, and those guys sitting right up there, I can't thank them enough. Signed a great class, and the thing that about this class is we went through some changes in the off season. I think at one point we had about 6 assistant coaches, so we had to double up, triple up, and the job that they did, and the support staff, the GAs, the people on campus, the food people, strength and conditioning, Chuck, and even the hotel people. It just I can't thank everybody enough for the job that they did. You look at the class, and what I'm talking about, our offensive line class, I think we had them all committed basically before the season started. And when the changes occurred, we lost an offensive line coach and we hired another one, and he was gone in 3 days, and it was a little while before we hired another one. And I know Kenny and Shane got on the road and they started hitting those guys, and then they had to go in their own area, and just the job that they did hanging on to those people. I don't think we lost a commitment because of the changes that we went through. In fact, we gained a couple or 3 new coaches, and that expanded our area a little bit. Sam Levy and Cardell Lou, from Texas and from Maryland. Those 2 guys came along because of the people that we brought on staff. So it was a good day, and again, I just want to thank everybody for their effort. Any questions about anybody on the list or anything in recruiting?
Can you talk specifically about your position guys, Roberts and
Seth Roberts from Ayrton is a kid from right down the road. I went and saw him early in the season, and when you've been doing it a while, it doesn't take but just a few minutes. I knew after I was there 5 minutes that he was one that we really wanted. Since the season was over, he's gained about 15 pounds. I don't even know what he is on the list, but when he came in on his visit a couple weeks ago, he's 250. He's a guy that's probably going to be 280 after the first year, and I think he's got a bright future in front of him. Brian Slater is from St. Paul's, very successful program in Mobile. Kid that I recruited, really liked him going back to last spring, watching him. He's a kid that can really move his feet and push the pocket. He's about 265 right now. I think he'll play at about 290. Just going down the list, Ari Anderson from Stanhope is another defensive line. He was in this past weekend. Really bright kid, got a great smile. I think he ended up as a 3-star. We're excited about him. He's another kid that can really run and move his feet, push the pocket for us.
Is he a true 285 coach? Even me?
I don't think he's going to be an end. He's probably going to be an inside guy. Now, 3-down package, he may slide out to a 5 technique, but he'll be an inside guy. Yeah, he'll be an inside guy for us. Anybody else?
Coach, the linebacker coach, you lost a few good ones. Do you feel like you recruited the needs there?
Oh yeah, you got Levy and then Zach Moore from Douglas, Georgia, Coffee County High School. He's a kid that really jumped out on tape the weekend that he came to visit. We watched him. He's a true 6'2". He's about 215, 220. He's going to carry 235, 240. He can really run. I think he's a real steal for us. Levy is a kid that, Dustin can talk about, but came out of DeMatha High School in Maryland, very successful football program. He came in this past weekend. He's true 6'2", 245. He can run and he can do everything. So we're excited about him.
There are a lot of sleepers in every program. Name me what you think might be a real sleeper here.
Well, I don't know.
Kid from,
You know, if you look at all these star systems, which I don't give a rat's ear about, you know, we have hardly any more than a 3-star guy, so I think all these guys are going to be sleepers. But I don't know. Be honest with you, I know we're happy with all of them. You never get all that you want. But these are guys that we wanted, and more importantly, they wanted to be here. So.
Early on, according to the website, you had a lot of offensive commits. Y'all seemed really close, hard on the defense. How much do you think that's attributed to the hire of Wayne Bolt as the defensive coordinator?
Well, you know, you look at the last couple of 3 weeks, the people that we've added with Lou and Levy and Zach Moore. You know, it's hard to tell. You know, when you have a change in your staff, you know, sometimes it can go the other way. But I think in our case, we flipped it and we worked it to our advantage.
I'd like to thank Coach Butler too, because he went through that whole scenario that he alluded to there with staff changes and down to 6 sometimes, and you know, having guys on the road, and some of them have to double up in areas, and you know, we got a lot of work out of these guys, and I want to talk about that a little bit. But I tell you what, the high school coaches in the states that we recruit are, I mean, they're just tremendous, and the programs that we get to recruit from, and you know, you can't say enough good things about the guys that are coaching these guys that are coming to college, not just at our place, other places too. But you know, they know how to deal with the recruiting regimen that we have to live by, and they do a great job coaching them and training them and getting them ready. And so credit to a lot of folks. I know Randy mentioned the hotel people and the administrative people here. We had great participation from our athletic director, John Hartwell. We had great participation from our administration, especially Sohail Ogbotwala, and others. I'm sure I'm missing some, you know, and all of these folks in the tower, you know, Matt and Mayotte, Chuck Ash, Richard Shaughnessy, the other folks in academics and training room. You know, we had a tremendous amount of folks that put forth the effort when called upon to help us, and you know, we do a pretty good job putting the feedback on campus here when we need to, and those folks do a tremendous job. Sodexo Marriott Food Service, and we try to do business in town, and we've had tremendous meals from some of the folks at the different restaurants. I'm not going to get into advertising for everybody, but at the same time, we appreciate the way that we're treated when we go out there and try to recruit families and young people to Troy University football program. And so, you know, I'll try to answer any question. The thing I think I ought to mention is the gray shirts from last year. Rashad Good from Bob Jones is a safety. Terrius Lewis is a linebacker from Linden. Mitchell Rowland is a linebacker from Auburn High School. We've had a few good guys from Auburn High School before. Quarterback Brandon Silvers from Gulf Shores, and a defensive end named Jamal Statham, whose brother is here, from Melbourne. And those guys were guys that trusted us and accepted the gray shirt and did not go anywhere full-time in the fall. They're here now, full scholarship, our dime. They're freshmen next fall, 5 to play 4. So tell whoever says anything negative about gray shirting that you know something positive about it. So I'm excited about those guys. I think the addition of you know, the Bolt and Dustin Landry, you know, certainly their contributions to the recruiting field that we went on, and then Dustin had a relationships with Libby and Lou at a former place, at a former job, and kept up with them and made the difference in the recruiting because of his relationship with those two cats and their parents and their coaches. And so that's sort of what it's all about. We closed and we wanted 3 corners. We wound up getting 3 corners with about 2 weeks left. Had to hang on. We got Julius McCall from Chelsea. And he is a good-looking thing, and played running back and was the Shelby County Player of the Year. Am I right, Kenny? And then of course Cardell Lou from out in Texas, and brought to us by Dustin, and a 6-foot corner that can outrun all of them. So a guy that we think can really help us make a big jump personnel-wise, at that position. I'm trying to think who the other corner is. Your guy over, Javius Terry, another guy, has lightning feet. He's about the guy, most of those guys are around 5'10", 175 or 80. And you try to pick the best ones with the best character, with the best, athletic attributes, and bring them in. I think this guy, he's also a punt returner, kick returner. And those things add to the special teams units, not only in the coverage part of it, but in the return part of it, and are super valuable to you. Jonathan Boring's a guy that we signed at mid-year as a high schooler. Shane and I had a relationship with the parents through Auburn. The dad went to Auburn, and this boy came in here, graduated early, and has been here through the rest of the recruiting process. And we signed Antonio Johnson, who's a wide receiver from Oklahoma City, Hutchinson Community College, at mid-year. And also another corner, if I can find his name, help me out. Yeah, Keon Payne, and he is a corner from, I think, Miami, but through Hutch. I look down the list. Clark Quisenberry from 30 miles here, might be one of the best football players in his class. His granddad played basketball here, and his mom and dad both went to school here, and he's a true Trojan, committed early, and has had a great year. He couldn't play the position he normally plays, which is receiver position and safety on defense, so they had to move him to quarterback because they didn't have one, or the other one got hurt. And he did a super job for him at that position. So we like him. Zach Moore was mentioned from Coffee County. I went through there and saw that program working out, and trying to call him great high school program developing over there under some really good coaches. And I've been impressed with my travels this year, out and about, and involved with these guys, these 2 guys from right here, Taylor Driggers and all right, y'all know, speak up now. Seth Roberts. I wouldn't doubt both those guys being mainstays and starters for us for a long period of time before their careers are over, and 2 great families. And then, they came here, they hung in here with us, and they may not have been, I don't know how many stars are hung on them. I don't know anything about the star system, don't care anything about the star system. We don't need to be worried about it at Troy. We need to be trying to recruit the best player that fits us. And those 2 guys right there will be, I predict, the backbone of this program before they leave here. And, and I will dare say it'll be a winning backbone. Y'all got any questions about any of these guys? I'll be glad to try to talk to them or get help in talking about them. The 5 offensive linemen, I think, all of them will play here. If they can stay well, they will. And the one I think probably I'm really surprised maybe that we got is David Gross. Thought he's a 6'5" plus 299 or 305 pound offensive lineman. Played defense up until I think his junior year, end of his junior year. Am I right, Shane? From Trinity. Also know a lot about his coach, who does a great job in a great program in Montgomery. And we're glad to have that family involved with us also. And David is a guy that he understands how to work, and I'm really proud of him. But all those guys in that offensive line group, I think they all got a chance to play and play early in their careers, provided the injury doesn't cause them a setback. But any questions?
Coach, is this Xavier Fields a high school player or a junior guy?
No, he's a high school guy. He's a big, strong guy. I tell you, we developed a good little chain over there to Stanhope Elmore, and this guy he's a big, what is he, 6'4", 320? Yeah, that's 320 if he hadn't had nothing to eat all day, right? Yeah, he is just a smart kid, good mom and daddy, had a great time on their visit, and we really are tickled that we got him here. He also another school, Stanhope Elmore, that has really become a place where we go look first every year. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about Jalen Harris and where he'll fit in with us in this program.
Well, Jalen is from Dothan, right? Northview. And I'll tell you what, Shane, why don't you talk about him? You know more about you and Kenny know more about him than anybody.
Yeah, Jalen played quarterback as you know in high school, and he's we like to recruit those guys that play quarterback, play receiver for us. We're looking to put him in most likely an outside receiver position. Really good hands, really good athlete.
Can run, yeah. Quickness. Normally high school coaches, especially if they're not inundated with personnel, talent, or depth, they will put their best player almost every time at quarterback. So, we look at a lot of those guys, and a lot of them play quarterback some, and we wind up trying to find a way for them to contribute with a gadget player or something after they get here. But it's good to have him in the program too. Northview, Dothan, close by. A lot of guys from around here, you and Montgomery and Millbrook and Dothan and Enterprise and Brantley and Ayrton. So I'm sure I'm forgetting and all-inclusive Auburn and a couple of guys over that way. I think we've done a solid job replenishing the guys' personnel, and getting guys that are good enough students to come in here and get the job done academically. And that's got to be first and foremost. And the two goals I'll ask them all to be in tune with is a degree, number one, lifelong proposition, NFL if you're good enough, number two. And, if you are working your fanny off on those two things, then I won't ever have to do that, pat you on the back and cheer you along, if you're in earnest working toward those two goals. And I think there's some on these 2 or 3 pages right here that you'll see playing one day in one of those games like last weekend. So I don't know which one they are right now. No way to know, but there's some good football players in this class. And Jordan Shun, was it 3A Player of the Year? 4A Player of the Year, running back from Madison County up there.
Coach, you had 4 gray shirts, but how many players did you have come on early, junior college and high school?
Well, we had 10, I think. 10, and was that right? 1 high school mid-year, 2 junior college guys, and 7 gray shirts. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. It may be 6 gray shirts. I got 6 gray shirts, so that's 9, I believe. But 9 or 10, so I'll be guessing that. All right. Anybody else?
Talk about Levy and Keon Payne, because you guys were highly talented coming out of high school 2 years ago, a year
Well, I know very little about both of them. I know Keon is a guy. Who knows about Keon? Help me. Anybody know anything about Keon? You need to talk about Keon. You obviously know more about him than I do.
Started my area with junior college and came here from Huck and came here. And looking forward to.
Yep. And Levy is a guy that didn't qualify initially, went to a prep school on his own, went to a prep school and got qualified. And, you know, I tell you what, I respect that guy and his mama. They both came on the trip, both flew down here. She had to pay her way to fly down here. And, you know, a great lady. I mean, shoot, man, don't think she don't know a lot about Troy right now. Because from the time we picked her up at the airport until the time she was let off, she was asking us stuff about, you know, how we were going to handle and her son and his development as a player and as a student at Troy. And she was very interested and very well, you know, she asked a lot of smart questions about her son's experience. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Do you ever compare classes? I mean, does this class rank up there as past 5 years? I mean, anywhere close to?
Well, you know,
as far as the talent level you feel like you brought in?
I think this is a good class. I really do. Counting the guys that came on board in mid-year, the junior college guys and the gray shirts, and then the ability to pick up another and the mid-year. That's where the other one is, the mid-year high school graduate, boring, and then be able to pick up 4 more linemen and pick up the running back, cornerback. You know, the needs. I mean, look, it's almost like we drew a picture of what we needed and it's on this sheet. So, I mean, that may rank them pretty high. You know, you don't need to really rank classes for about 2 years though. After you've been here 2 years and they go to class and they pass their work and they lift the weights and they become a player and at a position on the field and they're helping you, then you can rate a class. You know, it's hard to rate a class until you get them on the you know, under the pressure of being a student athlete, which is not an easy job.
Coach, you had to replace Sean Southward and DJ Taylor, your top 2 running backs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Longmire, Anderson, McCall have a shot to crack the roster early?
I think it got a chance. You know, they're all big guys. The smallest one's Longmire, I think, and he's 200, 205 pounds. And then he plays in and out. He plays slot and running back. But those other 2 guys, one of them's like 210, 215. And the other one is 230. Josh is 230. And
So Longmire played on the state championship team, did he?
he sure did. At Godby. Mm-hmm. They were like 14 or 15 and 1, I think, whatever it took. And coached by Ronnie Cockrell. There he is. And you know, I really think there's some good stuff in this group. And of course, it'll be our job now to get them all here. That's called getting qualified. If you're not qualified, most of these guys either already are highly predicted qualifiers. Highly predictable to be qualifiers. So we think we're going to get all these guys, number one, and that's a good thing. And you know, once we do that, then it'll be time to do our job and give them the support on and off the field, campus, personally, you know, life skills, the whole ball of wax, and try to help them cross that bridge. That bridge is from boyhood to manhood. If we can help them cross that bridge from boyhood to manhood, and when they leave us, if they're good football players and they have contributed, that's good. That's gravy, probably. But if they're grown men and they're going to be good providers, good citizens, and we can trust them out there in the real world, then we'll have done our job with them. And if we do that, we'll probably get a lot more back from them than we even anticipate at this juncture. So I appreciate all of you coming. And yeah.
Signed 1 quarterback now last 2 years, both times silvers. How much do you
I mean, I like Brandon Silvers. He's a good player. We didn't sign a quarterback when?
Well, we signed the mid-year guy last year, who ended up playing in the second team all-conference. He was an athlete.
Deion Anthony.
Yeah, but they're both seniors, will be gone.
Yeah.
How important will it be to sign one next year?
Be real important.
Probably gonna sign.
We'll sign
Two.
two next year.
Yeah, good question.
Coach.
Yes, sir.
Signing 4 guys from kind of the Wiregrass area with Brantley, Dothan, places like that.
Yeah.
And 2 guys last year, and then guys like BJ Chitty and,
Yeah.
and Darrell Journey. Kind of talk about the talent pool that's in your own backyard here and the importance of kind of recruiting this Wiregrass.
Right. There's no question that there's a lot of talent in this area. The thing we have to deal with is qualified talent, academically qualified talent. There's a lot of guys walking the streets out there after their senior year in high school that could play at Troy, could play at Auburn or Alabama, that aren't. And, that's all that should be is motivation to young people to start in the 8th or 9th grade and be sure you understand what it's going to take to maybe to be able to sign a scholarship one day in some form of athletics. But, there's a lot of football talent that fit into this program in this area, and we just got to be sure that we're always scanning our own backyard before we go to Miami. We have changed our structure just a little bit, and we're thinking more toward Atlanta. This is what I'm thinking: more toward Atlanta as our South Florida, and then going deep into Florida, maybe not quite as far as we have before. The Panhandle's always been big for us, and the state of Alabama and Georgia. You go over there in that corridor in Georgia, the 84 corridor, you can find a buku of players running up and down 84, and then 75 sort of cuts it, and you got to work those areas over there, and we try to divide our responsibilities up to procure the areas and then go into them and start working them, finding out where they are academically and where they are athletically. Camp is big. Camp before your senior year is big. If you can do anything, camp is big. If you want to be, don't call me on February the 5th and say I got a guy. Everybody's got a guy on February 5th. But I don't know crap about him, But if he came in here on June the 5th or 6th or 7th or whenever we had camp, I'm probably going to know a lot about him. And he's probably going to have been recruited, invited to games, the whole thing. So camp, come to camp. We have several different types, and we have signed a bunch of players out of camp, period. So I appreciate that. It's good. Anybody else?
Yeah, I've got one more question. You got 3 guys just from one high school, from Fernando. Does that help at all in the future when these guys actually know each other and they come to campus and they're kind of familiar with each other?
I think so. They played in a winning program or a winning coach, and they know about work. All those guys have been good or will be good, I think. And so I think it's anytime you can sign a teammate, I think it's positive.